It's coming along really well. As everybody has probably observed, at this point, he throws a really good ball. The prototypical type quarterback, tall, great arm, can read defenses. He has a lot of great attributes, so I would say it's going really well. I think the timing is impeccable. Obviously, the sky's the limit in terms of communication and things like that, but it's looking good.
Did you notice any improvement the second game? And where was that in terms
Improvement from
of Flacco?
well, as you know, the first game he started. I didn't finish the game, but I think he played pretty well. Given the circumstances in that first game. In the second game, obviously, I would say there was improvement because we won for sure.
And when you look ahead to this Bears defense, really aggressive defense from what we're hearing, just in terms of trying to punch the ball out and rake the ball out. What have you seen so far from those guys?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every defense you face is going to have those tendencies. I think the better defenses have it in a more exaggerated way, but practicing in this league, that's what's being harped on defensively. Trying to get the ball out because I mean, the team who has the least amount of turnovers is a team that generally wins in the game. So, yeah, they're an aggressive defense, but I mean that's what we prepare for.
Cooper, have you ever been with a team that's been hit as hard by the injury bug as this one has this year?
I think so. It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Guys, you're used to guys getting hurt, but guys getting hurt for the season, sometimes it just happens that way. So yeah.
Had you ever had a concussion before? I'm sure you probably did, but you came back pretty quickly from that one. And were you happy to move through the protocol nice and quickly and get back out there?
Oh yeah. I've had two before the previous one. Yeah, it's the same process every time. You got to go through the protocol, pass a couple tests. Fortunately, I've never missed a game. For having a concussion. So.
AVP was raving about the Bears corner. What's your impression of him?
The corners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the one Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, he looks good on film. He's very instinctive, very smart player. Has good ball skills. He's good at baiting quarterbacks. He's a patient player. He has a lot of good attributes, but I don't expect anything less of an NFL player. So, yeah.
When you talk about dealing with all these injuries, why do you think you guys have been as successful as you have been? Right, 8-5, right in the middle of things, despite losing all the guys you want.
Yeah, I mean, winning in the NFL is about much more than just simply having the talent from your starting guys. It could be about a lot of different things at once. Momentum plays a huge part. Camaraderie plays a huge part. Drive, motivation. It's a lot of different factors, and I would say, what I've seen from this team, the resilience, and all those other factors that I just mentioned. We seem to check every box. So.
In terms of Joe's arm, you told us when we first talked to you about it that it was like poetry in motion. Now that you've been out there, with him for a couple of games, that's a pretty darn good, nice ball that he throws, right?
Yeah, it is. It truly is. If you ask most receivers, our hand and eye coordination is, we have some of the best hand-eye coordination, in the world. When you're running a route and you're catching the ball, with our hand-eye coordination being so good, you don't really want to think about catching the ball. I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're so used to catching the football that we don't really think about catching it. Like, we locate it, we see where it's gonna go, we just snag it and go. But sometimes, with different quarterbacks, they throw harder with less touch than Joe Flacco, and so sometimes you have to focus in more and actually think about catching the ball too. And we don't really like doing that. So every time you get a quarterback like Joe who just throws it such a good ball to where you don't even have to think about catching it, we say he has touch, and we like the way he throws. So, yeah.
It seems there's been a lot of back shoulder trouble with him in more likely with a veteran to be able to do that? You guys hook up.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a veteran like Joe, um, the completion percentage, um, it's something that they've been around for so long that they just know the small, nuances, the small secrets. Like, okay, this guy's not really open on his goal ball, but I can throw him open. So I think that's his state of mind when he does that.
How surprised are you that you're able to build that connection so early? Talking about back shoulder throws, got to be communication between receiver and quarterback. How has he been able to do that so quickly?
That's a better question for him. I've been surprised myself. He seems to be very poised back there. Um, he just seems to have a great understanding of what's expected of the quarterback position. And he just, I don't know, I've been very surprised by him, by how fast he was able to pick up the playbook and things like that. I mean, it's been surprising. So,
Are those back shoulder throws, is that the play or is that an option that you guys work out?
everywhere I've been, the coaching point is the same when it comes to a back shoulder. You don't really plan to throw a back shoulder ball. The receiver, he has a go ball. He's running full speed. He's trying to stack the cornerback. He's trying to win over the top. A back shoulder is something that you always just adjust to. It's not something that's planned.
Does Joe bring some of that, maybe a little bit of Jacoby Brissett type leadership, veteran presence, sort of knit everybody together, especially during a difficult time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, most of the quarterbacks that I've played with, they've all displayed a tremendous leadership ability. So, Joe has that as well, just like Jacoby had it. So, yeah.
Last two games, you guys have had 8 and 9 receivers involved in the game. How important is that? I know you want to have a pass, but how important is that to spread out those passes and you guys being able to involve so many guys in the passing game?
Yeah, I think it's, utterly important because, we're in December football. That's what we're hopping on right now. It's kind of different once you get into this mode of football. You're inching closer to playoff football, and it's a different brand of football. I would say it's much more serious. Teams seem to, I don't know, be on the P's and Q's more, scheming and everything like that. And I've been in situations to where the ball wasn't really spread around that much. In playoff games, December football, and if the defense knows where the ball is going, they can easily stop it. So when in doubt, spread it out.
How happy were you for David Bell to catch that touchdown pass?
I was just as happy as he was. I mean, as you can see, he had a huge smile on his face as he was, entering into the end zone, and I had to say he smiled because, he's been working hard. He's a hard worker. He's a very reliable teammate, and he deserved it for sure.
You talk about how quickly Joe connected with you guys on throwing the ball, but how about how quickly he just seemed to slide right in as being part of the team rather than just an outsider coming in?
Yeah, I think those two things actually pretty much go hand in hand. I mean, guys in this league, they respect guys who have been in the league a long time because they know that it's something that's not easy to do. It's not easy to sustain, ability for a long period of time. He's a Super Bowl winner. And coming in here, having the arm that he has, being, such a great talent, guys respect that. So, when you respect a player, it's easy to build camaraderie with him.
Thanks, Amari.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
a number of teammates who are on IR. That room is always known for the closeness that exists. How do you keep those guys in the loop? Stay connected with them, while they're on IR, away from the facility.
Yeah, we still have our group texts and we still have our our dinners when we do them and stuff like that. So we try and keep the guys involved. It's difficult though when so many guys keep going on IR. They're doing their rehab, their party meetings when they can be, but they have a lot of other things that they're kind of focused on right now. But we have a good group, and I think we have a good core. So just like whenever we bring someone in, there's part of the group. We're pretty easygoing guys, so it's not too hard in that aspect. But it does stink when you don't have your full room. You lose a little bit of personality when a guy's having to get surgery and things of that nature.
Joel, why is Bill Callahan and Scott Peters too, why are they so good at keeping guys ready, getting guys ready to just step in?
I think the way Coach Callahan coaches, he was so detailed in his process from day one till now that when you plug in a new piece, they kind of have to be caught up to speed to really understand what's going on. And so his focus every week when we have to put someone in, like he puts in the extra time, he puts in the extra work. The guys are focused on getting extra work when they need to. And, you have however many runs in for a week, 20 or 30 runs, and you can really focus on those runs and the detail behind, which formations we're going to get, which defensive fronts we're going to get. And it breaks it down for him. But I think it just starts with how detailed he is and how focused he is on the little things, and that allows guys to go out there and kind of play free.
Do you think it helps, like a guy like Nick or like Mike Oldon or James, these guys to kind of get some snaps, even if it's a fullback or the extra lineman? Do you think that helps keep them engaged kind of throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, they're super engaged. You never know when we're going to call our jumbo package or our muscle packages when these guys get tons of reps. You look at Nick Harris, who took tons of reps for JC in practice, so he had all that prep time, and then was going to be the starter. Obviously got hurt, had to fight back from that, and then Poe did a great job when he went in there. So he's kind of getting these backup reps, and he's like, how can I get on the field? And like, we need a fullback, we don't have a fullback, or we need a big tight end. And I think those guys just want to be part and want to help the team, and they're good football players. So anytime they get on the field, I think is a huge positive for them.
You guys have talked a lot about how December football is different. You're plugging guys in at this point in the season with so many injuries. How hard is that, or what is the biggest challenge that you guys that have been through the season can help in this process?
Yeah. At this point, I think these guys have been around the group and they understand, like, hey, we're playing for something. We got ourselves, I think Joe said it week, we played good enough early in the year to put us in position to play meaningful games in December, and they want to be a part of that. They don't want to, the mindset is they don't want to let their guys down. They're going out there to fight and to compete. And we still think we have the right guys to do what we want to do. And so we're focused on that. We have a good test. Chicago's playing great this week, so it'll be. I mean, this lasts like 4 games, so it'll be a good challenge for us.
And Joe, you mentioned about how detailed Callahan is. So my question is, does your blocking assignments change subtly week to week depending on your opponent, and is that what you're working out here in practice?
Yeah, it starts with what type of defense they run. And then, like a week we play Aaron Donald, we have a different plan for him than we do against, different guys. Or if they have a great defensive end, there's going to be a different strategy on how we want to block him. So I think there's a huge focus on who we're playing against and our opponents, and then what techniques you want to use. We have different types of double team blocks, if we're going to use our hands, our shoulders, our understrikes. There's so much detail that goes into it, and that is definitely why we're practicing and meeting to learn those things. Yeah, since they've traded for Monty Sweat, they've been very good. They run, I think, the most games in the league, which is like TEs, ETs. They're a movement front, so even if they're playing base defense, their guys are going to shift and go into different gaps. So there's a lot, and they come from that tree of like play hard, relentless pursuit. So it's a big challenge for us, but they've been, against the run the last. If you look at the stats, I think they're one of the better teams against the run, and then their sack production has been up the last 3 or 4 games. It's definitely going to be a challenge for us.
Joe, guys being better at home, is that a science or is that how it's worked out?
I think a little bit of both. I think our fans bring the energy. I think especially our defense, I think thrives on that, and they get excited and it gets loud, and it's pretty cool to see. You know, every once in a while, I'll get them to get loud on the sideline. I'm like, all right, this is cool. It's getting loud in here. And I think it's a tough place to play. You know, you're down on the lake, you get some wind, you get some conditions. You know, it's definitely a different atmosphere than a lot of teams, you know, are used to playing in. So we love playing our home games. And then I'm sure there's some luck that gets thrown in there as well.
Your quarterback has officially been signed to the active roster. Coop was saying that he's surprised how quickly Joe has picked this up, despite it being 15 years.
Right.
He's poised this up back there. You feel the same way, Joel? Has it been a little bit surprising to see how well he's done in such a short period of time?
Yeah, because any team you go to, I mean, not that I've been to a lot, but any defensive coordinator, any offensive coordinator has different terminology for things. So in his head, you know, a certain route could be called something else and stuff. So he's been through enough where he's probably seen it all, but to categorize it and put it into one catalog for the Browns, I think is very impressive. You know, the first time I saw him throw 7-on-7, he was doing like the scout team quarterback, and I was like, he's throwing the ball pretty good. I don't know much, but like there's some pop on the ball. So I knew that was still there. But then you got to get in the game, the cadence, the understanding, the feel, and I feel like you see it, and you're like, all right, he still got that. And so hopefully it's like a bike for him. He just gets back on, and he just keeps riding.
Wyatt was saying at the end of the game last week, everything that he was saying was happening. Like they scored, here's what we got to do, what have you. How important is it to have that extra voice, you know, along with coaches and everybody else, but that guy saying those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think experience-wise, he's seen it all. Been a part of it all. So he was just focused on, you know, talking about the clock, where it's going to be. If we get the ball back under 2, we're going to be able to take a knee. You know, if not, we got to get a first down. All these different aspects. I just think it comes with experience, and it's one of those things where we appreciate that, and you know, hopefully we can keep rolling with it.
2 more should get you guys in. Has that been a discussion point at all?
No, we're trying to go 1-0 this week, and we'll see what happens after that. But our focus has been very exact on the week ahead, and we'll kind of see what happens.
Kevin will be proud of that answer.
He's teaching us something, you know.
Joe, from the outside looking at, you know, people look at the discrepancy the last couple weeks between the run and the pass, throwing it almost 50 times, running it 20 or a little bit more than that. Is that more so like what just the game plan going in, what they're calling for, just based on what they see, or is it more like the feel of the game in that moment?
I think it's we're trying to take what the defense is giving to us. You know, we had a stretch there where every team was putting one more big guy than we had on the field, so it was kind of asking us that we had to throw the ball. Denver did that, the Rams did that, and then this week I think if you look at Jacksonville, they're number 1 against the defense, but probably bottom half against the pass. So I think just the game plan and what we wanted to accomplish and how we could attack the defense was kind of more of that. But it's really whatever it takes. If we got to run the ball 50 times, we'll run the ball 50 times. If we pass the ball 50 times, we'll do that too. You know, so whatever it takes.
Which do you prefer?
Whatever gets us a win.
Joel, you guys went through a December like this in 2020 where you had to kind of finish and get into the playoffs. Do you take anything from that? Are there lessons to be learned from that? I know that was a weird year.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean the resilience I think comes from that as well. I mean we didn't know who was going to play then, and there was weeks where we didn't get to practice at all, and it was very up and down with COVID and everything. And it's kind of similar. We have, you know, some injuries that, you know, unfortunate injuries and different things. So I think the group has gained resilience over the years, and I think that's something that definitely helps us.
Joe, how is a Christian? Is he improved, or is he just came in with a level of play and pulled it out?
No, G's done a good job. He's really focused. I think he comes in and he's been a few different places, and he started his career with Bill in Washington, but he's really come in and focused on his craft. And I think if you look at it, like his technique and everything has improved over the last few weeks, and I think he's been doing a great job for us. Like to come in and have to play left tackle, it's not like receiver or D-line where you get, you know, 20 plays a game. Like you have to get in there and you're thrown into the fire. And I think he's come in and he's really fought hard, and he's really working to keep improving every week. Thanks, guys.
That's crazy. All right, let's go.
JOK, you've been flying around the ball lately. Is this the best ball you've been playing in your career?
Sheesh. I mean, you gotta define flying. I mean, for me, the games that we win, I feel like those are the best games. But the games that we lose, whatever you see from my performance is really not enough, right? And I think that's really what it comes down to: wins and losses, to be able to put ourselves in a position to get to the playoffs and ultimately get to the bowl. So. Yeah.
Is this the most comfortable you've felt though in this game since you've come back?
I think any defense, the more you play in it, the more comfortable you get. And any sport, the more that you play the sport, especially at a high level like the NFL, the more comfortable you get. I think with the scheme, with the players, with the speed of the game. And I think that's just where I'm at, is where I think I've seen just the amount of ball to be able to make that next step. So.
Do you like having another dual threat quarterback to chase around?
Oh yeah, I'll put it like this. We similar to the Baltimore scheme a little bit, in reference to kind of like how the quarterback does some of the options and stuff like that. So I like how Coach Schwartz puts together those defensive schemes in relation to those dynamic quarterbacks.
Did you learn by facing other dual threat quarterbacks this year to be more prepared for Justin Fields and Sunday?
Well, I mean, again, like they're similar players, not exactly the way that Lamar plays, but they have similar, very diverse, very strong, very speedy, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
How would you describe the job of the linebacker in Jim Schwartz's defense?
Well, the job of the linebacker is really to be the nerve center for the defense, not to get too rattled, not to get in a position where you're screaming or you're palms up and doing a bunch of things that are causing the defense to get out of whack. I think ultimately it's to fill in the gap, is to make sure that the engine is moving, which is our D-line, and the communication is there, which is the back seven, or really the back behind the linebackers. But ultimately it's to be the nerve center for the defense.
Is there anything that you have to do differently in defending like a dual threat quarterback, like mindset-wise, as you're thinking through it, versus when you're defending maybe guys in the pocket? Because like you shoot a gap, maybe that you jump the gun and he gets out of the way and makes a play. So just kind of what goes through your mind when you're doing that?
Yeah, I think everything is by personnel. So I mean, of course, it's slightly a bit different when we play. When we're playing a dual threat quarterback like that, you do have to be more patient with your fits and making sure that you're in the right places, because if the mistakes do happen, they can really hurt you with their feet. So.
Sorry if you answered this, but have you addressed all the TFLs that you have been getting so far this season?
To be honest, if I could give the TFLs to the D-line, that'll make more sense. I think it's a huge applaud and huge praises to the defensive line and what they've been able to do. Even the corners a bit, to be able to hold off, defensively, to allow the quarterback to maybe hold the ball a split more second. Definitely praises to the teammates for that.
It just seems like there's a little bit of you involved in that too, though. I mean, you're really, your speed is really showing up in this defense.
Yeah. Well, again, it comes down to what the crowd and you guys may not necessarily see that's inside of the scheme. Again, I think that's praises due to the defensive line and the DBs.
You guys have obviously lost a lot of people. Some more, Grant's on IR now. Obo might be out for the year. How have you guys kind of been able to deal with all these injuries now?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. I spoke to Obo the other day and GD and everything. It is tough, but I think that ultimately, it really comes down to it's the next man league, right? You hear it all the time when people get hurt, things come down. But I think what's the best thing is that we're not like losing them in a sense, right? They're still in the locker room. We get to still talk to them, speak to them a bit, whether it's FaceTime, and we still get their experience, we still get their information, their wisdom on the game. So it's really about that. Some young guys are going to have to step up and earn their way, right? So I think that's what it comes down to is the next man up and seeing can they also execute, maybe not in the same way, but enough to where they're flourishing as well.
Why do you think those young guys have been able to step in? Because that doesn't happen everywhere like it has here. Why do you think they've been able to be so effective?
Well, it's a bit of the culture, I think, that we're building. When you are developing and you have a good leader, you have good leaders, and there's a pride on your back. You know what I mean? When you have a family that has a family creed and a family mission, and gives the players and the people that's inside of that family a bit more pride to go towards something. And when we have established here and looking to build continuously, I think they want to be a part of it, and it's a bit more hunger. So.
We hear next man up all the time throughout the NFL. We've also seen teams that have had those season-ending injuries that haven't been able to emulate it. How many season-ending injuries you guys have had? How have you guys been able to mimic that next man up and been able to actually follow through on it, not just?
Yeah, I think it's the focus. I spoke a bit more on the culture, but Coach Stefanski does a good job with allowing us to know that it's not Sunday that's the emphasis. It's not Saturday that's the emphasis, but it's the day that we are living in right now. It's the hour that we're living in. It's the second that we're living in. And when the young guys step in, they really, embrace that. So for them to focus on the now, focus on their responsibility each and every play, I think is those little things that mean a lot. So.
Joe Flacco, what has he brought so far, just in terms of leadership and poise and just kind of confidence to the room?
Joe's a guy that's had a lot of experience. He's been able to establish himself, whether it's by word or by deed. I think that he's done a great job being able to lead the offense, stepping in, doing exactly what the coaches want him to do, being a good teammate to us. Whether it's helping us out, whether maybe a look or helping another quarterback out, give us a better example of what to do with a different type of offense. So he's done a great job, and I look forward to seeing him do and progress more. So. Yeah, I think my personal side is my personal side, but I think more so off the field is really about how can I reset every day? How can I say, okay, today was a decent day, have awareness of what mistakes I made today and what I need to do better at, and correct those mistakes the next day. And those things are really what's important. Can a person reset? Every time that a person makes a mistake, they have the responsibility to be able to correct those mistakes, and I think that that's been the emphasis this year.
Thanks,
Appreciate you.